Hello everyone and welcome to the farm here in Farming Simulator 22. Today I want to talk about cows and how to make them happy. So this will be a pretty comprehensive guide on taking care of cows, but not only taking care of them, but of course the guide to happy cows. Alright, so here we are on the map of Alma, Missouri, and we have some cows. And I'm going to tell you pretty much everything you need to know about cows and, of course, yes, like I said, keeping them happy. Well, first thing I guess I should say is, again, this is the map of Alma, Missouri. Now, cows, different animals are going to need different things on different maps. I'll start off with the basics here. The very basics are, really all cows need is food and generally straw and water, and you're good. I mean, so that's the guide right there, right? That's the basics. But I want to tell you a little bit more than that. This is more than that. This is how to have happy cows. Okay, so first of all, that statement is not necessarily true, food, straw, and water, because not all maps require that. Even if you go here to the pause menu and go down to the bottom to help, once this, and, oops, sorry, not there, my bad. If you go here anyway, it probably says the same thing in the help, to be fair. But right here it says, blah, 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 likes grass, hay, TMR, additionally they require water. That's just a general thing. I think different maps do have different messages there. Regardless, that's not always going to be true, and it's not true here because they don't require water on the map of Alma, Missouri, nor do they on a couple other maps I've done. And I'll show you how to ascertain exactly what they do require because, again, yes, different maps are going to have different things. And I'll get into all of this. I just kind of want to lay the groundwork here because I like my cows happy. So, for instance, some maps, there's also beef can be a byproduct. This map does not support that. This map, they're just for milk. And let's see. If you want to see what kind of cows, let's start with that. What kind of cows can we have? Because, again, that's going to vary from map to map. And I want to give this as a guide to kind of all-encompassing. So different maps are going to have different kind of cows. This is usually what I see, though. Yeah, this is usually what I see. And, again, there's no beef on this map, and this is pretty simple. This is going to be a pretty good general guide. All right, so let's see. Yeah, it does say they require water here, but they don't on this map. And I will show you here pretty quickly how we ascertain that. So let's start off with the basics. Let's assume that they require food, water, and straw, right? All right, good. I got a tractor here ready with some water. Now, I said they don't require water here. That's true, they don't. But I'm going to show you this anyway. So first let's put it in gear, and we're going to drive in here. And I'm just showing you this. I've got my triggers turned on for help here, but you see when I drive through the water through here, there's not going to be any, and this does have water in it as you can clearly see, but there's no water trigger, there's no water fill trigger, so I can either assume that the water trigger is somewhere else or they don't require water. And this one thing has definitely sent myself and many others to Reddit or other forums many times asking questions, and of course the thing is simply different maps have different requirements. So how do you really, how do you know? Well, I'll show you one great trick. This trick is going to only work on PC, but this is a fantastic trick, and I'll show you right now. If you get your keyboard and press F5, what that does is it lights. Look, I'm not a map maker. I don't know all the ins and outs. I'm also not a real dairy farmer, but I do know how to do this in Farming Simulator, and I know that if you hit F5, what it's going to do is it's going to pull up wireframes. The first time you hit F5, it'll pull up these red and yellow wireframes, and what it's going to show is, among other things, it's going to show all of the input triggers, input and output triggers. So you can see right here, you want to look for a yellow frame. Yellow is going to be input and output among other things. See, there's a big yellow rectangle here. So that shows me that I just drove that water trailer through an input and water didn't trigger to unload. So that tells me that wherever the water's unloaded, it's definitely not here, right? And it tells us that there is a trigger here. We can assume it's food and possibly straw. I think I've seen some maps they don't require straw, but that's, Anyway, here they do require straw. As you can see, it's in their pens. Yes, there are maps that don't require straw. Off the top of my head, Big Flats, Texas. Anyway, moving on. So there is a trigger here. So let's go outside. Outside, that right there, that yellow box, that's just an opening trigger for the gate. That's just where the gate opens. Up here, that is output for milk. So when you go around here, you'll see where all the triggers in and out are. For instance, here's a yellow box around where you get the animals, and I'll show you that as well. I'll talk about that in a second too. So anyway, that's a great trick to see if you're just missing, where a trigger is, if you can't figure where to put the straw or the water or whatever. Well, I could show you the other side of the building, but it looks just like this. So from what I've ascertained, nope, they don't require water here. So, because it won't unload. So to turn off this, just hit F5 a couple more times. Oh, about, let's see. Push it again, it goes to that. Push it again, it goes to that. Push it, yeah, one more time. There. Once you see the blue pop up, and then push it one more time. Okay, so it's like, what, 3 or 4 more times? Just push it till the wireframes go away. F5. So that's a great thing if you're on PC, and if you're not, then I don't know, you know, you'll have to find out some other way what they require or not. All right, so I hope that helps. So, well, at least now we know the cows here don't require water. And I have a water trailer here full of water. Yeah, because when I started on this map, I didn't know what they required yet, so I got the water, and then I was like, oh, they don't need it. So I'll just put this away here. Now I'm going to show you how to feed him, all stuff like that, and I should have everything we need out here already. So equipment for feeding cattle, again, you know, they need TMR, but actually they don't need TMR. I'll talk about that in a minute, but basically TMR or, you know, you know, grass, hay, whatever. So we'll get through that. So here's basically all the tools you're going to need, more or less, you know, which is just mowing equipment. There's a windrow, tedder, baler, probably know all that. And we'll get to some of that stuff in a second. So let's talk first, because we want happy cows. Would cows prefer if they were delivered or if we got and picked them up ourselves? Personally, I'm definitely one to get an animal trailer and go pick them up myself. However, if you go over here to this, I'm not sure if you know or not, so this is a guide. So if you got an empty cattle barn and you want cattle, you go to the little paw print thing here, and we open this up. And when you click them here, see, I can click one of these, and again, different maps are different. This one I can buy them at age 0 month, 12 months, or 18 months, and basically it's just cheaper. The younger they are, it's cheaper, but the longer you have to wait until they hit puberty and can reproduce. So if I wanted to buy another, these I bought at age 12 months, I would just click that, and then select, and you can plus or minus however many you want. And if you buy them here from here, there's going to be a delivery fee here. The delivery fee is $80. Just back out of this. Or you can click on, do the same thing at the animal place, the animal dealer, and just unload them yourself. And I'm not going to be showing that here in this tutorial. This is just about keeping your cows happy. I just kind of wanted to go over that a little bit. There will be a delivery fee. Here it's only $80 per cow can add up, right? We can do picking up animals from a dealer in a different video. All right, so let's have a look at the requirements. As it happens, here, let me shut my tractor off. It's a bit, as it happens, I got caught up in spring planting here, and I've neglected my cows for the past couple of months, so my cows are in need. Now, first of all, if you look at your menu here and you see this, don't necessarily panic. The bars are red. It's not that bad. If you look and see, they have 20,000 liters of TMR, and I only have 20 cows. It's fine. The reason the bars are red is because, and I'll show you this here, the reason the bars are red is because I only have 20 cows, and this pin holds 350. Now, if you're curious how many your pin can hold, if you look up there on the top right, where my cursor is, farm, 20 out of 350. So if you're curious as to how many your pin will hold, there you go. So that's why the bars are red. It's, you know, totaling for a lot of cows, right? So let's look back here. Okay, so here we got, we can feed them hay, grass, TMR, by base food. I don't know exactly what it means by that, but the thing is, you can feed them just grass, right? And that's, according to this, like 40% effectiveness, right? You can feed them just hay, that's more effective, and they will be fine on just hay. Now, the thing with that is, again, different maps are going to be different. I want my cows to produce milk. If you look on the internet, you will get varying answers, and it's because different maps, right? So the thing is, on some maps, well, I can't say some or all, but generally, if you just feed them grass or hay, they will produce milk, but not as much. Generally, for milk, you're going to have to give them hay, and they may produce milk at a reduced rate. I guess you could say the same for beef. It's going to be the same with beef. If you're getting them for beef or milk, whatever, grass or hay, they may produce. They're going to produce less and not optimum. Maybe not at all. Some maps, they may require TMR to be productive. At least they'll be alive, but they definitely won't be happy, and this is about happy cows. So, of course, anyway, so TMR, right? I mean, that says, look here, it says 100% effectiveness, TMR. That's what we're going to feed them. So, okay, so the water didn't work. That we know they need TMR, and if you're ever curious, you can always look right here, and this will tell. This is like everything you need to know. Also, notice right here, it doesn't say water on here, even though it does say water down at the bottom. You know, I'm just kind of getting to what do our cows actually require. They do require straw. They produce slurry and milk. But there's no water bar here. It's because they don't require water here. I guess that's another way you could tell. Anyway, so we're going to talk about how to make TMR. First, let's do an easy one. Straw. All right, we look here, and they've got plenty, but they could use more. That's simple. Get some straw, and of course, find out where the trigger point is for the straw. Where do you drop off the straw? That's going to be different everywhere. Here, because we've already checked the trigger points, we know there's only one fill trigger point, and that's where we drop off the food. So, as it happens, here in Alma, Missouri, that's also where we drop off the straw. So, oops, let me select the right tool. There we go. Let's grab him some straw. I have a lot of stuff scattered out here. Springtime was super hectic here on the farm, and a lot of stuff got scattered for the cows. Some maps, there are like straw blowers. You know, there's bale chippers and blowers to blow it into the pens. This map here, you just drop it off. Now that said, if there's no straw bar in here, if there's no straw bar there, you can, and there's no apparent trigger for it, you can assume they don't take it at all. If there is a straw bar here and you can't figure out where to drop it, and if doing this doesn't do anything, then it's pretty safe to assume that there, and that went into their pen. And as you add straw, you'll see it kind of increase in pools around them, you know. So if that doesn't work, but as you know they need it, if that doesn't work, it's kind of safe to assume that you're going to want to use a blower or something and, you know, actually dispense it into the pens. I seem to remember doing that in Farming Simulator 19. I'm not sure. I haven't done it basically ever since. Someone can correct me on that. Instead of doing that, what I do is I kind of test that sometimes by just putting a bale in there and see if it takes it, because you can always just, you know, use your front loader and scoop it back out, hopefully, if it doesn't, because I don't want a bale to get stuck in there or something. I really don't see that ever being the case. Anyway, so basically just add straw to the trigger, right? All right, and I could add more. They can use more. I got more sitting around. Let's move on. So now that they've got straw and they don't need water, let's talk about TMR. So TMR, again, I'm not a real farmer, but I like to raise cows in Farming Simulator. TMR is basically a mixture of silage and hay. Think of it as like fertilizer for your cows, right? So it's silage and hay. And let's turn on my help here. If you stand next to a TMR mixer like we have right here, you're familiar with this. Many farms, any farms that have cows, this is generally part of the starting equipment, as it is here on this map. And when you get close to it, it'll show you the mixture. And you can see icons for hay, silage, straw, and that right there is the, what's that stuff called? That's the symbol for mineral feed. And I have some here I picked up at the store. I just think of it as like additive that I add to the TMR. I picked up a couple pallets, and as you can see, the ratio is very small. Those, so you get those bars there, and the bars, basically, it's got a ratio that you want to mix the TMR at. We'll go over all this, and I'll mix up some, and I plan on messing up a mixture too and seeing if we can fix it, because, you know, I'd like to cover that, like what happens if you mess up the mixture. So as long as all the bars are somewhere between those two arrows, then you've got the right, tolerances for your mixture. The straw is basically, think of the straw as just like a thickening agent for it, I guess, right? The straw is just kind of there to add some thickening to it. I don't think you even technically need straw. Yeah, notice that the bottom arrow for the straw is all the way at 0. Yeah, I don't think you even technically need it, but you can add it in there. So let's hop in our loader here. You're going to need a loader. For the loader, I use... This is one of my number one recommended tools for any starting farm is a silage fork. It's a great cheap tool. It can move pallets. It can move bales. It can scoop silage. It can also scoop grain, all kinds of stuff. You can use it for pretty much everything on the farm, this one little tool. And it definitely beats having a bunch of other tools laying around, you know, right? So let's start off. We know we need silage. Silage is the main ingredient we need the most of. And if you're ever curious, we can just drive over here with our help window open, get close enough to the mixer. So we know we need silage. It's the main thing. It's the main component of it. And there's a couple ways to get it. You can make silage in a silo bunker, and I'll show you how to do that. Yeah, so yeah, now in our guide to happy cows, we are at the meat of the subject, which is TMR, and the meat of TMR is silage. You can make silage in one of these. I'll show you how to do that. Or you can buy it in bales, but it can cost a lot of money. Here on this map, it's about $2,500 for a bale of silage, pre-purchased, pre-wrapped. There's actually, technically, there's a third way, and that is using our own equipment over here. The one thing I like about cows is they are a very green animal, and that if they are starving and they're hungry and you don't have anything to feed them, you can literally mow your lawn and give them everything they need from your grass, right? So, because grass will give you the components for both silage and hay. Now, to get silage from grass, well, you can use the silage bunker, but say you don't have a silage bunker, you can mow your grass and bale it. And if your baler has a wrapper on the back, or if you have a wrapper, you can wrap the grass. I'll talk about that in a second. As you can see, our baler does not have a wrapper. I didn't want to spring for one because I didn't want to spend like 50 grand to get a wrapper. I just prefer to use a bunker silo. And they both do the same thing. The bunker silo and the wrapping does the same thing, which is it allows the collected grass to ferment and turn into silage. All right? So, yeah, I'll show you everything about putting this in here. But basically, well, actually, you can just do this real quick. You put grass or chaff in here. Put grass or chaff in here. And as soon as grass or chaff enters the confines of the bunker silo, it all just gets reclassified as chaff. Chaff is anything spit out from a forage harvester. Anything a forage harvester spits out is chaff, or you throw grass in here, it'll become chaff. And if you pull up our help menu, oh, it doesn't say compacting, but once you put it in here, you'll have a bar up there. This is compacting, and you just, you drive over it, compact it, right? And then once you get everything in here you want, you press the key, which I believe on keyboard, if you're on PC, it's the R button, whatever key it prompts you for, and it covers it. Once it's covered, a certain amount of time will pass, usually like a couple of days or time. I don't know. It ferments over time. It's not too long. I think it's actually like played time that you spend there, though. It's like a few % an hour or something like that, right? It probably varies. Point is, once it's covered, it ferments. And it's the same thing if you do it with wrapped bales. If you bale grass and wrap it, let it sit there and it'll ferment. Or you can go to the store and buy it like this. So this baled silage that I bought from the store right here for, yeah, see, $2,400 for, that's basically just a square bale of grass that's been wrapped and fermented. All right, so that's our main ingredient. We know we need that. So let's go ahead and let's grab that and toss that into the mixer. And I'll talk about that in a second. So go ahead and get my thing up here. Excuse me, let's get over here and let's grab us one of these. And usually I don't play with my help window open because it takes up so much of the screen, but I do have it open when I do this so that we're going to want it so that we can see. We want to get the ratio of stuff just right in the mixer. You don't want to mix it wrong, which I am going to do to see what's, what happens and how we can fix it. But first we're going to mix one right is what we're going to do. All right, so we got us a bale of silage. So let's do a mix of one. We'll mix everything. Yeah, so add the silage first and proportion everything else around that one bale of silage, right? If you follow what I'm saying. Because when we put this bale of silage in, let's get the bars up here. Let's get close enough to get the bars up. Let's pull this up here so it won't trigger the thing. So I can talk for a second. Okay. Because there's nothing to compare the ratios to, once we drop this in, the silage bar is going to go all the way full and probably be red because the mixture's wrong. Well, the mixture's wrong because there's only silage in there, right? Once we add the other things in, the bars will start evening out. So we're going to base it around silage. Right, now if we look in here, you see I have it hooked up to a tractor, which, let's get the tractor running. Oops, let's get the tractor running. But I run this without the mixer on. I'll tell you why in just a second. Let's go ahead and start this tractor up. That way it's got power connected to it. We can run it. I do this with the TMR mixer off because as you're doing this, notice that when I get this close to the mixer, it will start automatically mixing it. And that's how you know that you're close enough to it that it's taking from your bale. Of course, you can also look down there by the tachometer and see it going down, or you will be able to once I lower it close enough. As I get my bale close enough, you'll see it automatically starts turning, because you're going to want to be delicate with the other ingredients, because you don't want to accidentally put in too much. So you'll see this there. It just started activating. It's going to start taking, and you can just hold it here, and it'll start taking the silage out of the bale. This will allow you to pull your forks up to curtail the amount of other ingredients you add. All right. Oh, what are the, oops, forward. What do the bars here say? I didn't look at my bars. Oh, there, now they popped up. I don't know why I had to drive away over here, but there they popped up. Okay, so the silage bar is all the way full. All right, now let's add some hay. We know we're going to need hay. There's actually a bale right in front of us. I don't know how much is in this bale. I got some half-used bales around here from mixing previous batches, so yeah. So we're probably going to need more hay than this, but that was weird that my bars only popped up once I drove away. I guess just kind of drive away and drive back and see if... I've never seen that actually, so it was kind of weird that it would do that at this moment. But so we're going to get this nice and close. Now, to be fair, this is probably not enough hay, but pretending this is a full bale, we just want to kind of dip it down until those wheels start churning in there. Okay, now the silage bar turned red because the mix is wrong, but that's because it's, you know, there's not enough hay, right? So let's see if I can get, no, let's just drop it off there. There we go. All right, actually, that turned out to be just enough. I guess that was left over from a previous batch, and it just happened to be totally perfectly enough. However, as we add straw, that's going to go down. We might want to add some more. So we just want to keep the bars green. So let's grab some straw. Is there straw around here handy that I can grab? Yeah, there is. Here, we'll just grab it from underneath this bale of hay. I got to reorganize this stuff anyway. Now that my crop is planted, I got time to spare this summer, and I can do some organization. All right, so let's get in here and get this bale of straw out. Oops. Yeah, that'll work. There we go. All right, so we want to be careful with the straw because we definitely do not want all of this. We'll mess up the mixture. So I'm going to ease towards this and kind of slowly lower this down. Let's get a good view of those blades there until this starts taking away from it. Come on. All right, well, let's get closer then. There we go. So you don't need much straw. There we go. It's taken from the straw. Watch the green bar go up, and we'll pull that up. That's enough straw. We could use more hay, but I don't want to keep you guys here all day long. So that's saying that's all good. All right. Let's just go drop this off. We'll just toss this over here. And there we go. Now let's grab some of this mineral feed here, mix it in just a tad. Actually, you know what? There is a half a pallet on the other side, which is likely just what we need because that's going to be leftovers from a previous batch. It's probably easier with forks, but these will pick up pallets just fine without changing attachments. There we go. I got the mineral feed. That's close enough. All right, now let's get this over here. There's probably not too much on here, but again, we just watch the bar, and this is kind of hard to see because that bar is so small. It's kind of hard to see. But we're just going to hover this over till the wheels start turning. It takes it pretty fast, and I'm going to go grab some more and put some more in there. All right, now this is pretty touchy, so I'm just going to barely let this... Oh, it already started taking it. Boy, that bar is hard to see. It started taking it from pretty far away. There we go. Whoa! it started taking a lot. Man, it takes that stuff fast. I actually, yeah, I try to get everything just perfect. You know, I'm like a perfectionist, but you know, I don't think you have to be. But I had my tractor in reverse all ready to back up because I was afraid it was going to take too much, and I didn't want to screw up the mixture for you guys. I've only messed up the mixture one time on accident. It was a long time ago. It's not that much to worry about. Let's see how our mixture is. We got TMR now. I think we are good on the TMR front. All right, so we are ready to feed our cattle. So let's hop over here. And here's where I turn on the mixer. Yeah, I want happy cows, so I turn on the mixer just for, if nothing else, role play's sake. I'm not sure you actually have to, because as you saw, it turns on its own. But now we have the mixture mixing for the cows. Let's put the tractor in gear and head over here. And we know where we unload it. There's a big trigger here. Again, check your see where your triggers are. Ours here in Alma, Missouri. It's just this one big area right here. And happy cows. All right, now let's see what happens when we mix it incorrectly. I think, so on this, I think, yeah, we are good. We have very happy cows. They have quality home mixed feed. That's better than anything you could buy from the store. Oh yeah, let's, in this next example, we're going to mix it wrong, but I'm also going to use the bunker silo. So I like to make my cows feed by hand. Of course, those were with purchased bales. I wanted to show you guys how that works. But I do prefer my own recipe. And our recipe here, preferred recipe, is alfalfa grass. I like to think it's better for them because it's fancy. But today over here we have, when they were running short on food over the winter, I mowed my lawn. Yeah, because cows are they recycle, right? So I mowed my lawn, and this is actually just regular grass. This is lawn clippings I put in here. So we'll just press, oh, that would help if I had the right keyboard. Press R to uncover this. Now there's no trigger for it popping up on my screen because I don't currently have it bound to anything. In my case, and this may be the case for some other people too, just shake your mouse. That'll pop up the, you know, if you're using different control schemes, that'll pop up the mouse controls. And then if it's, you know, a trigger that's available, it'll appear there, but it won't for me because I just uncovered each end. But that's the thing, because I don't have every key bound. I mean, have you guys seen the controls for this game, right? I don't have everything bound to my controllers. So if you're ever unsure and you're on PC, just jiggle your mouse, unless you use your mouse and keyboard, you get what I'm saying, and it'll swap control schemes, and maybe it's bound there, because there's some things I just forget to bind. Anywho, so let's get in our tractor, and now this will be, well, except for the fact I'm going to mix it wrong, except for that, it'll be a good batch, because this is our homemade silage. Now, I don't have a big scoopy. We just got this. But so I'll just do just a little bit here. Just get some of this, some of our homemade stuff. This is what I prefer to feed my cows. Whoops. I didn't mean to move the camera there. It's just I had the, I didn't have the loader controls on. Let's get in here at this. There we go. And there's about 22,000 liters in there, so that would take a while with this little guy here. That's why I said I'm not going to do the entire thing, but just a little bit here. And let's just get this in here. And this will be a good batch because homemade with love. All right, so I'm going to get this loaded in here. I'm going to get a decent amount, about, let's see, how much is in one of these, bales. Let's go check real quick, because I know mixing it with the individual bales are 5,000 liters. All right, so I'm going to get 5,000 liters of silage in here. Yeah, so it's exactly the same thing, except I like to do it this way better. I'd rather not spend $2,500, $2,400 on a bale when you can just put your lawn clippings in here and wait a day or two, with it covered, right? So I'm going to go get a few more loads in there, and then we're going to see what happens when you mix it wrong. And I think this will be the last bucket of silage. I kind of lost count because I messed up and spilled some of it on one of them. So I'm going to get out and go check. And yep, that is enough silage. We got 5,000 liters of silage. So, I mean, it can hold more than that. This thing holds, I think, 22,000 liters or something. I'm not exactly sure. but I'm just doing 5,000 because that's the same as the bale that we did in the first mixture. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get some hay in there. Just do the same thing that we did before. Got a bale of hay right here on the end of the trailer. So we'll just scoop this up. Oh, let's turn our help window on so we can see. Got to get the bales pretty close. All right, and now what we're going to do. All right, so that's all good. Everything is going to plan just like it should be. And I'm going to show you the mistake that I made on the very first one of these that I mixed ever, forever ago. We're going to go grab our straw. So here we grabbed our straw, and it wasn't the best. We didn't get the best grip on it, right? We just kind of rushed up and grabbed it. Didn't get the best grip. And so we're putting it in here, and whoops, we fumbled it. And the whole bale fell in, and I can't get the straw out. Oh no, what do we do? I actually don't know, so we're going to find out. So let's say this actually meant for that to fall in. I did that as sloppily as I could, but it didn't. Well, anyway, we got too much straw. So let's say the straw bale fell in. Now this happened the first time I ever did this, and I was a beginner, so I didn't know what to do. Well, we're going to try something, and as you may have figured out, I don't know, but I'm going to try this for you guys so we can we'll troubleshoot this. So, because I've got an idea, obviously. All right, so we have got an improper mix here. So what I'm going to try to do is let's see if we can force dump some of this out. Haven't tried this. Yes, we can. Let's see here. All right, now let's turn this back off. All right, so I just force dumped it all on the ground. I mean, what else do you do when you have a batch that's totally screwed up? So on the ground now, what we have is, I'm not sure, to be honest. I just made a mess all over my farmyard. Luckily, it's the middle of summer. Our fields are already planted, and I got some time to spare. So, I mean, what else are you going to do, right? If you screw up a batch. Now, when I told you I messed this up the first time I ever did it, what did I do then? Well, I probably did the other thing you could do. There's another trick you can do, and that is you can go to your map. This is a bailout for anything goes wrong. Anything goes wrong, and you get the wrong stuff in your trailer. You can just click on the trailer and reset it back to the dealership, and it will appear at the dealership empty. You know, I've had that happen before. I've had to use that trick many times for many other circumstances, but I wanted to keep my load, so I dumped it here. Now let's see what exactly we have here, what came out on the ground. This is kind of just my experiment. I'm all about happy cows, and I want them to have good homemade TMR. So there you have it. If you mix the wrong mixture and dump it out on the ground, you know, bail out from your experiment, what we end up with is hay. We now have all of this hay all over the ground. Hey, it's a starting point. It's not nothing. It is something. Now, while I'm thinking what to do with all this hay, well, I'm trying to figure that out. I'm going to run over here and show you all something that I think I intended to and kind of maybe forgot. And that is a really useful add-on that you might want for situations like this. Say you have bales, like right here, we have a bale of hay. And say, for whatever reason, I want it loose. There's a great mod you can get, and I should have gotten the name of it before I started this, but I just didn't think to. But I'm 99% sure I got it off the mod hub, and it's probably called Cut Open Bales or something. Because what it does is it allows you to cut the bales, what I'm getting at, and I'm sure it's called something like Cut Bales, Cut Open Bales, something like that. I'll try to remember to find it and link it down for you in the comments below. It's a great mod because, say I have this bale and I don't want to buy a bale chipper. Those are expensive, and I've got so much equipment already everywhere on this farm. You don't need it, because in real life, I could cut these strings and get, of course, it'd be really tightly packed. I mean, I know how tight these bales are, but still, it is feasibly possible. With that mod, all you have to do is press C, the C key on your keyboard, and bam. Or you can bind it to anything else you want, but there. Now I have more of a mess to clean up, and that's what made me think of that. That comes in handy if, yeah, you don't need a bale chipper. It's a simple mod. It allows you to realistically cut the strings and get your bale open. That's okay. Like I said, I got all summer to figure out to work around here on the farm and clean some stuff up. let me shut this tractor down here and think if there's anything else that I missed going over. I wanted this to be a complete guide to happy cows. My cows are very happy because they only eat homemade, Missouri-grown, fresh TMR. They do have some hay and stuff in there. You can see there's some hay in with their food if you look in here, and that's because when I first got the cows, I didn't have anything to feed them, so I just cut the grass and gave them some hay to start off with. But since then, I've only been feeding them TMR, and they always have plenty. I don't know how much you need for how many cows. This bar is kind of misleading because again, it just it ranks it for the total capacity. But check every month, make sure they're well fed. And here I'm just producing milk with them, and as you can see, we've got about 10,000 liters of milk saved up. Now on this map, I'm involved in productions. I need the milk for butter because this farm is all about cornbread. This farm, and I'll have further guides on productions and other things, but this is my cornbread farm. That's what we do. We farm corn and cattle and, wheat and grass for the cattle. All that together, we make corn flour, and with the butter we get from the milk, we make cornbread, and we sell it to the fine folks of Alma, Missouri. Guys, thanks a lot for watching this video. This is my complete guide to happy cows. If you have anything to add or any other questions, I may make further videos here actually to kind of expand upon this. I got quite a bit of mess here to clean up, as you can see. So, in closing, we're left with all this hay. So that's what happens, obviously, when you mix something wrong. All is not lost. We could have just teleported the trailer back to the store via the map by clicking on it and hitting, well, if you have an Xbox controller, Y, or just clicking on it with the mouse at the bottom, reset, or whatever controller you have, reset it to the store. It will empty out everything that's in there, and you'll have an empty trailer. But I didn't want to lose all that TMR. I honestly didn't know what would happen. So here we got a bunch of hay. And hey, well, we can use this to, we got quite a bit of hay now. We can use this in future batches. So yeah, I guess needless to say, I won't be having to mow my yard anytime soon for emergency hay. I've got over there in the distance behind that tree, I've got a hay loft. I guess for now, I'll just load this up and toss this over there. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll have further guides on this channel. I'll try to cover pretty much everything I can. I like to make guides for the game as I play this so much, and I know things like this are questions people have. So any further questions, let me know in the comments below, and I'll address them best I can. Guys, thanks so much for watching, and make sure to keep those cows happy.